welcome to my September reading vlog. I'm already starting to feel a lot better because I can already feel fall coming, and I think that this is going to be a good month. So to start off my month, I will be reading my one book that I read for my 100 Epic Reads of a Lifetime poster, and that is The Color Purple by Alice Walker. I have heard of this before, but it was the movie, the one that won a lot of Oscars in like the late 80s, early 90s. So far, I've been getting into it. It's a bit hard to get into just because of the structure of the book. It's an anecdotal novel rather than a descriptive one, and that takes some getting used to, but otherwise, this is all right. I'm 50 pages in so far. I'm not sure what I plan to read next, so stay tuned. I also wanted to say that yesterday my friend came over and dropped off a painting she made for me, and she's so precious and I love it so much. It is Bran Castle and I love it so much. I love you, Sarah. Please give me every single painting you ever make. I will love and cherish all of them, and then I will sell them when you die because they'll be worth billions. Alright, I am finally done my first book of the month, and that was The Color Purple by Alice Walker. I ended up giving it 3 stars. I discuss it in a little bit more detail in my other video that will be coming soon, but it had a lot of good themes of religion, sexuality, gender, race that I think are very compelling, and I do recommend this book, even though I only gave it a 3-star. It was just that it didn't capture my attention as vividly as I liked. So the next book that I plan to read is Shadow of Night by Deborah Harkness, which is the second book in the Discovery of Witches series. It probably has a different title for the trilogy. I think it's All Souls, maybe? Anyway, that's what I'll be reading next because I think I need something that is in a familiar universe that I'm used to, because the idea of reading something new right now is just not gelling with me. So that's my update for now. I hope you can hear me over the rain. I don't know what genius decided to put a metal awning right over my bedroom window, but it's been great trying to sleep for the past my whole life. So those clips that you saw of me in those outfits was me trying to figure out the outfits that I'm going to wear for a new lookbook. It will already be posted by the time this comes out, so I can freely talk about it. It's another Dark Academia lookbook, but it's more of a supernatural twist to Dark Academia, which I didn't plan, but it's still very exciting. I have 4 of the outfits, I believe, set in stone. The one with the dark and the lace seems a bit too hot to wear, but we'll see. I do only have to wear it for about 10 minutes. But I am still struggling to figure out the outfit that I will wear for the book Bunny, because I already do have kind of a dark gothic-y outfit for the other book. So I think I'll be in the more girly outfit that Cupcake usually wears. That's her nickname in the book, if you don't know that. So I'm really branching out of my comfort zone here. I'm wearing a lot of casual wear, fancy wear, like gothic kind of inspired, and then like a cute pink look. So I'm very self-conscious, so I hope that I can film properly and get that out. I'm nervous about filming because it seems like it's going to be raining, but I do have an entire week to have possible filming days, so at least that's good. I am still only reading Shadow of Night by Deborah Harkness, and so far it's pretty good. I got to the part where they meet Philippe, who is Matthew's vampire dad, and I actually like him. I thought I was going to hate him because I only knew the books that I read previously where he was a ghost and he kind of sucked. But he's pretty cool as a human. He's not what I expected at all. I do think it's funny because the vampire and the witch traveled back to the 15th century where the vampire already existed. All of his friends keep asking him if he's sick because he's clean-shaven, and I didn't know that you would shave your face only when you were ill back then, and that your beard or facial hair was your sign of status. So it's really funny, that running joke. Other than that, I really don't like a lot of the patriarchal and hierarchical vampire stuff, but in this series, that's the norm. But I've noticed it in a lot of vampire series, and I really don't like it. Like, I also don't like mates. I don't like mates. I think it's stupid. I hate that there's only one true love your whole life, even if you're immortal. I think that stinks. I prefer the Lestat angle where you just fall in love with everybody you see and you have a beautiful romance, relationship, love-hate thing with everybody. You know? That's way more exciting to have that many more relationship dynamics than just your one true love who's a little witch lady. Okay, that's it for now. Berries and cream, berries and cream. I'm a little lad who loves berries and cream. Okay, so I finally picked out another book, and I am reading Vampire Beach. This is technically the second omnibus. I have two omnibuses of the first four books, and I'm reading it because it's stupid and ridiculous and just the OC meets Twilight, and it's mid-2000s gold, and I'm very excited to see what dumb crap this is. So far, it's your very typical YA mid-2000s thing going on. Funny thing though, it is a human boy and I believe a vampire girl, which is very exciting to me. I hardly get to read that kind of dynamic. It's usually human girl, vampire boy. So we'll see how this goes and if I enjoy it. So that's it for now. Hello, update time. I am currently reading 3 books because I was panicking that I was putting myself into a reading slump and I just started reading 3 books. So let me tell you about them now. The first one is that I'm currently listening to the audiobook of Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. It is a brand new debut author and it is a retelling of Ariadne and Theseus and the Labyrinth and the rest of her life. So far, I don't have that much to say about it because I'm only 25% of the way through, but it is written nicely and it's very nice to listen to so far. Secondly, I am still chugging my way through Shadow of Night by Deborah Harkness, and so far it's just been them in the 15th century arguing because Matthew's a misogynist, but it's okay because it's the 16th century. 15th century, whatever. And they're just meeting a bunch of historically famous people that I really don't know a lot about. I really don't care what they're like as people. Yeah, and I'm very bored by it, and I hope that it improves. And finally, I'm on the second book in the Vampire Beach Volume 1 omnibus. The first book was very abrupt. I feel like the author was only given 200 pages to create books. So most of this book was him getting to know everybody at school, and then the last 40 pages were a vampire mystery where you had to figure out which vampire was killing a bunch of people. Not a lot of build-up, not a lot of payoff, not a lot of fun action or anything. I'm on the second book now, and it's really just that his friend has come back from Michigan to visit, and things aren't what they seem. And also he has an aunt. I don't know if the aunt is the vampire or if the old friend is a vampire. So we'll see. Once again, this book is only like 180 something pages, so really not a lot left to do. So I'll tell you how it is at the end. That's it for now. Hello. So I finished 2 books yesterday, the first one being Volume 1 of Vampire Beach by Alex Duval. So I'm going to be giving this book 3 stars because the gimmick is silly enough and it's full of a bunch of early 2000s references, but each book in here is less than 200 pages and it didn't really give it enough time to both build a compelling vampire lore as well as good mysteries, because there'd be fluff for the first 140 pages and then for the rest of it the mystery would suddenly rise and everything would be solved in like 40 pages. So I still have volume 2 that I have to read, but I don't know if I will read that right away. I might need a break from Malibu vampires for now. And I also finished Shadow of Night by Deborah Harkness, which is the second book in her trilogy, and I'm also giving that 3 stars. I found a lot of the aspects pretty interesting, including how they kept up with historical accuracy and the issues of a modern-day person traveling to the 16th century. However, it was too bombarded with just a bunch of boring stuff, and I don't even want to read the third book because of how it left off and how it's pretty boring. I will end up reading the third book, but I just don't want to, just because this book was just such a chore to get through. I do like the universe well enough. It is a pretty good vampire quadrilogy, 4 books in the series. So it's pretty good. I'm not that upset by it. I don't know. Meh. I feel very meh about it. I'm currently watching season 2 of A Discovery of Witches now because I finished the second book, and so far the TV show is doing a lot better pacing wise, and the chemistry between the actors has really solidified. So the main couple actually seem more in love than they do in the book, which is actually shocking because they were written to be that way. Okay, that's it for now. Hello, it is me again, here with another update. I'm once again in my living room, so if you hear the pets running around, that's a special gift to you, I guess. My next update is to say that I have finished the audiobook of Ariadne by Jennifer Saint, and I'm giving it 4 stars. I actually really liked it. I could tell reading it that it wanted to be Circe by Madeline Miller very badly. It was very clearly inspired by it and following in its footsteps, but I would argue saying that it is actually better than Madeline Miller's Circe, because Madeline Miller likes to make every god or hero very cynical and have them be mean and cynical for no reason other than the fact that they're powerful. There's no nuance to it, and it's very old very fast. However, Ariadne was actually very good at explaining everybody's motivations, whether they were human, hero, or god, and I was compelled by all the characters, and I understood where they were all coming from. A lot of them were bad and made very bad choices or stupid choices, but I at least understood why they made those choices. I get it. You know, like, Theseus is selfish and a liar, and he wants to be the coolest hero, and he lies constantly. But he wasn't vilified to the point where it was like a cartoon villain, you know? I get it. And the way he was written, he made horrible choices and I didn't like him, but it still made the tragedy that he faces in the Hippolytus myth still very tragic, and I still felt for him. So if you're able to create your characters with more complexities other than just being mean to the protagonist like they do in Circe, it's very compelling and I really like it. The descriptive language is very beautiful in the story, so it was really nice to listen to on audiobook, so I do recommend the audiobook. One issue that I had was I didn't get why Ariadne had to be physically present in the same place during the Hippolytus story that was occurring. She is living on a deserted island, for those who don't know, and she travels to visit her sister during the events of this storyline. She wasn't there in the original play, and I don't think she's there in any depiction of the myth, but I could be wrong. And having her there doing nothing and the tragedy still going the way it did, it didn't really do anything other than try to give her chapters more action, which I do understand, but she didn't have to be there. So it just felt like really dumb storytelling in that way, like they just conveniently put her in. Either way, I do recommend the book. Like, I actually really liked it. I was just expecting another Minotaur Labyrinth story, but it does more than that, so read it. And at the moment, I am currently reading Catherine House by Elisabeth Thomas. For those who don't know, this is a brand new story. It's pretty notorious for being very weird and put into the dark academia genre, although that is a very fuzzy title in itself, obviously. It is about a girl named Inez, and she joins this illustrious school called Catherine House, where there's only like a dozen people, maybe a little bit more, and tuition is free, and you go through this weird specialization of your studies, but if you graduate, you're set for life. So she goes because she's got really nowhere else to go, and things start to get weird. They do kind of science experiments on their heads with stuff called plasma. I'm halfway through the book, and so far it is just very weird. It already has that reputation on it, it being very weird, but it's weird without really any payoff. It's not really going anywhere. It's just sort of chugging along. So if you like atmospheric stories that just chug along and don't really have a lot of heavy plot or action, like, go for it. So far it is very weird. I will have to wait till the ending to see if I actually enjoyed the process of reading it or not, but I'm not hating it, so we will see. That's it for now. Hello. Pardon my appearance, I just woke up, but I decided to finish out my reading month by reading Volume 2 of Vampire Beach. I had just pulled this out to start reading, and look what it says on the back. As seen on Cosmo Girl. In Cosmo Girl. How 2007 is that? That's so funny. Alright. And here we are. We are finally at the wrap-up for the month of September. I had a pretty average reading month, but I'm really hoping that next month, which is Spooky Month, will yield better results. So the first book that I read for my 100 Epic Reads of a Lifetime poster was The Color Purple by Alice Walker, and I'm only giving that book 3 stars. I thought that it was pretty good, and I understand why it has been so well received by others, but it wasn't that compelling to me, and it was just an average read. The second book that I read was Shadow of Night by Deborah Harkness, which is the second book in the All Souls trilogy, and I also gave that book 3 stars. I enjoyed the aspects of the story where they had to protect historical accuracy, but otherwise there just wasn't a lot that was really that compelling to me. I felt that the book's length went on and on too much. I think that Matthew's character is unbearable, and the only thing that I liked was Phoebe's introduction, so just an average read again. The third book that I read was the first omnibus of Vampire Beach by Alex Duval. So this book has 2 short stories in it, less than 200 pages each. I am also giving this book 3 stars. It's very fun for what it is. It's very OC meets Twilight, and I really like all the early 2000s references in it. But as I said, the actual plot of the story doesn't introduce itself until about 150 pages in, which only leaves about 60 pages for the mystery to resolve. It's just a lot of fluff and build-up, and not a lot of payoff on these books. So fun little read, silly early 2000s references, but otherwise nothing that interesting added to the table. I then listened to the audiobook of Ariadne by Jennifer Saint, and I'm giving that book 4 stars. I really liked what it did with the myth and how it continued on Ariadne's life and didn't just focus on the labyrinth. I thought the writing style was very beautiful to listen to, and I found myself very compelled by the characters. Even if they were meant to be a bad guy or a good guy, you could understand where everybody was coming from, and I really appreciated that, rather than strictly vilifying characters for different reasons. Next, I read Catherine House by Elisabeth Thomas, and I'm only giving that book 3 stars. It was very atmospheric and very creepy, and I liked the way that the story was told, but it was very weird, and I didn't see a point to it. Not every book needs to have a point or a lesson or anything, but it just ended, and it was very weird, and I think it was just meant to be weird and not really stick to you. It just didn't stick to me at all. It was pretty average in my opinion, but yeah, 3 stars for Catherine House, unfortunately. And then I decided to close my month out by finishing the second omnibus of Vampire Beach by Alex Duval, and it's a 3-star again. It's the same as the first 2, not really much changing going on here. Not too exciting, but I'm glad that I picked these up because they're pretty silly, they're pretty fun, and I love a good gimmick. So that was my reading month of September, reading 6 books. I hope you all enjoyed watching this, and I will see you next month. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next month for Halloween. Bye!